what is the biggest challenge you feel like freelancers or like self-employed people face when they're applying for a mortgage? Is it kind of what we've already talked about, or is it something else that you feel is the biggest challenge?
Um, the biggest challenge for me is them not disclosing everything up front. Like that's the biggest challenge. Like I constantly have to tell clients that are trying to get a pre-approved for a mortgage, hey, I'm not the police. Tell me your whole entire situation. Because once we start this process, the
He's
underwriters
an
are gonna
American gangster.
yeah, the underwriters are gonna find whatever you're trying to hide. But if you can tell me beforehand, I can kind of let you know the exact things that we're gonna need or what we're gonna be looking for in order to help you or to let hey, now it's not a good time. I don't want you to risk losing your earnest and option money or paying for an appraisal when this loan is not going to go through. Like for instance, I had an individual
Mhm.
and she was like, okay, well, she does have W-2. And so she submitted the W-2 and everything. And then we find out like 3 days before it's time to close that, oh, well, the W-2s that you have is you own that same business. you know, yeah. And so it's like she pays herself properly, but we did not know this information prior to going through the whole loan process. And so,
Wow.
now this adds an extra step for us because, okay, well, now we need those business tax returns, you know, to show, that um, whatever you're paying yourself is also reflecting on the tax returns as well. And it's just like as an additional step. But that could have all been avoided, and we wouldn't have to delay closing or anything of that sort had we known this information up front. So
Right.
it's just simple things like that.
Okay. That actually kind of makes sense. I will say this: people, as self-employed people, since we don't have to answer to anyone technically, well, obviously to our clients, but I mean, like in a general sense, we don't have a
Yeah.
boss or anything. It creates I'll say, a fear of ridicule when it comes to just interacting with. I'll go ahead and say financial people because we don't have to report to anyone. And when it comes to talking to someone like you, um, we may feel hesitant to talk about certain things. And that's something that we really need to get over because it's the conditioning that employees don't have because they have to report to people.
Hmm.
So there's not this massive like emotional stagnation about talking about stuff like this. If you're not careful, you can develop that. So it's just something that we should be mindful of as self-employed people. And that's actually another reason why, even on a part-time basis, maybe just talk to a financial advisor, make sure you're moving in the right direction. Obviously, there are benefits to that financially, but if anything, it'll help so that you don't start cementing in this mentality. Because unless you're going to live in apartments all your life or rent all your life, you're going to
Yeah.
want to eventually buy a house. And this is an opportunity to stop that from happening in the first place.
Yes, yes, it definitely is. And I would say that, another, um, I guess, like a good tip for people that, are trying to set themselves up, to be able to purchase a home. Let's say, for instance, like credit cards and things of that sort. So, you may have, certain individuals who, their whole life operates on credit cards, even though they pay the balance or whatever, like that every month. But, a great tip is when it comes to like American Express. As a lender, we want to encourage buyers to utilize American Express at the time when they're trying to purchase a home, just because the American Express, whatever the balance is, we don't quite count that into your DTI, to your debt to ratio income, because that's something
Um,
that's excluded. And it's excluded because you normally pay the balance every month. And so, as long as we can see that you have the funds in your account in order to cover whatever that balance is, now you don't have to actually utilize it to pay that balance right away. But as long as we see that you do have the funds to cover it, then it's all fine and dandy with us. that's one debt that we are going to exclude from your debt to ratio or from your liabilities, pretty much. And
Hmm.
anything that you have that's less than 10 months. If you have a car payment and you owe less than 10 months, on those auto payments, then we're going to also exclude that from your debt as well.
Hmm.
When
Yeah,
it comes to student loans, if you're going conventional, and so a lot of people there like in student loans forbearance, and so let's say they may not have a student loan payment, but what we're going to do is we're going to calculate 1% of that student loan balance as part of your DTI in order to get that payment. Even if you don't have one. So what I do encourage people to do, this is another challenge, is that if you don't have a payment, I encourage you to negotiate with the student loan department in order for you to get a payment. If it's less than 1%, that's actually going to be more beneficial for you rather than going and not having a payment for it, because we're going to automatically calculate 1%. If it's FHA loan, we're going to calculate 0.5% for each student loan.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So these are little. Well, I don't. I guess I'll go and use the word. I was going to say like financial hacks when it comes to just knowing about this stuff in the process.
Mhm.
I guess it's fair to call it a financial hack when you say.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, it's just something to kind of think about before you apply for a mortgage, and to kind of like go ahead and get your ducks in a row, before, so you know that okay, well, when I do get ready, everything is going to be for sure fine. I don't have to stress or worry about okay, well, can I qualify or can I not qualify for this based off of what you have in your credit.